Chapter 5. Awareness, Emotion, and Intuition. 1. The shift from cosmic history to inner mechanics. After 3 chapters of extraterrestrial and energetic history and one on control systems, Ashayana Dean turns inward. She says that knowing about aliens or energy grids is useless unless we can manage our own consciousness fields. This chapter explains how the Guardian Alliance defines awareness, emotion, and intuition, 3 functions of human energy anatomy that together form the bridge between ordinary perception and multidimensional perception. 2. Awareness, energy, focus. Awareness is described as the direct expression of where our personal life force current is pointed. The human body, through its chakras and DNA strands, constantly projects electromagnetic currents outward. Wherever those currents focus, reality crystallizes. External awareness deals with the 5 senses in the physical environment. Internal awareness reads energy patterns, emotions, and intuitive data. Most people, she says, have been trained to use only external awareness, keeping consciousness anchored to the lower frequencies of the Earth illusion matrix. Guardians teach students to split attention, holding focus both on the outer world and the subtle inner sensations of vibration, tone, and feeling. Doing so begins the process of reconnecting the higher DNA strands. 3. Emotion, the language of energy. Dean then reframes emotion as a literal electrical translation system. Each feeling is a wave frequency that either harmonizes with or distorts the natural crystal's current. Emotional tone frequency. Effect consequence. Love, joy, gratitude expands and quickens. Atomic spin opens. Upper chakras. Anger, fear, guilt contracts energy, lowers vibration, feeds artificial grids. She says Earth's culture deliberately miseducates people about emotion, teaching repression or indulgence instead of recognition. The Guardians advise observation without judgment. When emotion arises, breathe and watch the energy pattern instead of acting it out. This releases it from the biofield and prevents distortion. 4. Intuition. Direct perception of chelonic patterns. Intuition is not fantasy or women's instinct, but the bioneurological sense that interprets chelonic symbol codes before the rational mind translates them into words. In an undeveloped state, intuition appears as hunches or synchronicities. When refined, it becomes multidimensional translation, the same mechanism Dean uses for Guardian communication. Exercises taught include quieting internal dialogue until the faint vibration behind thought becomes audible, noting flashes of image or sound and tracing them to an emotional tone, checking whether that tone expands, Guardian, or contracts, intruder, the heart field. Through repetition, intuition aligns with what the Guardians call cellular knowing, the body's direct reading of morphogenetic code. 5. How the 3 work together. Awareness gathers information, emotion energizes it, and intuition interprets it. When balanced, they form the triadic flame, the personal instrument for truth discernment. When separated or blocked, people become dependent on external authorities and easily manipulated by holographic inserts. She explains that the intruder control grids function largely by keeping these 3 centers fragmented. Fear and shame collapse emotion into low charge. Overthinking blocks intuition. Constant sensory distraction scatters awareness. On that, learning to synchronize them restores personal sovereignty. 6 Guardian methods for rebalancing. The chapter outlines several frequency hygiene practices, presented later in the book in full technique form. Breath tone alignment. Slow rhythmic breathing while mentally sounding chelontic vowel tones to stabilize DNA strand resonance. Color frequency visualization, using soft pastel spectra to flush heavy emotion from the auric layers. Emotional clearing journal. Writing each day's dominant feeling, tracing it to belief structures, then consciously re-choosing the belief. These aren't framed as religion, but as energy physics exercises. 7. The emotional body as dimensional bridge. She introduces a new concept, the emotional template body, an energy layer between the physical and astral bodies. When emotion is repressed, this layer twists, creating what we experience as pain, illness, or fate. When harmonized, it acts as a translator that allows higher self-communication during dreams or meditation. Thus, healing emotion equals reopening the stargates within the body. 8. The role of choice. The Guardians emphasize that no being, alien or divine, can override free will. The mechanics of awareness are neutral. How we use them determines alignment. Each thought or emotional response is a micro-choice that either locks energy into the false matrix or moves it toward the organic one. Awakening, therefore, is not a single event, but an accumulation of moment-to-moment frequency choices. 9. Practical application. Dean brings the teaching down to earth. She suggests that readers start noticing when their body tightens or lightens in response to information, how media and conversations manipulate emotional tone, how silence, nature, or genuine affection instantly expand awareness. She stresses that spiritual protection is not about rituals, but vibrational discipline, keeping emotion clear, awareness focused, and intuition trusted. You're 10 toward the next step. The chapter ends by previewing the next section of the book, which shifts from personal practice to planetary implication. Once individuals master awareness, emotion, and intuition, they begin to influence collective grids. This sets the stage for later chapters on mass consciousness, planetary ascension mechanics, and the bridge zone timeline. Condensed idea flow. Aspect function result. When balanced awareness, focus of life force clarity, present moment, power emotion, electrical language of energy, high frequency, vitality, intuition, direct translation of Keylontic code guidance and protection. Together they rebuild the inner circuitry that intruder systems once fractured. Overall message. Chapter 5 marks the transition from cosmic mythos to practical self-mastery. Its underlying theme is empowerment. The same multidimensional mechanics that allow beings to manipulate reality can, when consciously used, set humanity free. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are the steering currents of creation. Awareness is the rudder, intuition the compass. Learning to navigate them consciously is the real beginning of ascension. Would you like me to continue with Chapter 6 next? The one that introduces mass consciousness grids, planetary frequency shifts, and how personal awareness affects Earth's overall timeline?